Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome here as we get ready for our second race of the season at the Daytona International Speedway. Getting ready here tonight for the running of the Coke Zero 400 powered by Coca-Cola at Daytona. Race 22 rolls in here to the World Center of Racing. We're getting set here tonight for 32 laps of racing, and I'm telling you what, this chase field, it is continuing to pile up with faces of drivers that are former champions, drivers that will be making their first ever chase, some rookies. I mean, it's incredible, the field that we are putting together, and we've still got, including tonight's race, 5 races before we've completely determined the 16 drivers that will battle for this season's chase for the Hersheys Cup Series Championship. So, going to be interesting here tonight because we always consider Daytona and other super speedways the kind of wild card races. Everyone's on a level playing field. These kind of races seem to cater to the underdog. It's already done it here this weekend with Davey Johnson winning the Truck Series race, Kyle Keith winning the Pizza Hut X Series race. Will lightning strike a third time here tonight in our Hersheys Cup Series event? We saw last week at Rockingham, North Carolina, Rockingham, Anthony McCrury put himself now back into the championship hunt with a bid to make it into the postseason. Picking up his second win of the season, it jumped him back into the top 30 in points to 24th. He starts on the front row here tonight. Look who's alongside of him. Former chaser from last season, a 2-time winner last year, but looking for his first win this season, J McCloud in the 51. There's another driver that could really use a good run tonight. He's 17th in the point standings. A win would put him right into the playoffs this season. Look who else is behind him. You've got M Haas right there, the defending champion of this series. He is currently way down in the point standings, and he's still looking for his first win. Things not looking good for the defending champ to try and get his second straight title. He is in this season so far currently running 27th in the point standings, so he's got a shot to maybe make the chase if he can get a win. You've got Levi McIntyre back there. Remember back to last season, one of the most consistent drivers, but didn't pick up a win until the chase began, so he wasn't able to battle for the title. He's still looking for his first win this year. You've got B Allan. She's still looking for her first career win, and we know what Michael Norman Motorsports can do here with their restrictor plate program at Daytona. So many scenarios. Let's get the command.
Drivers, start your engines!
And if it sounds like I'm excited, you bet I am. This has been such an interesting season. We've got some very interesting drivers that are already locked into this season's playoffs. Trent Dunham, Dallas McIntosh, Chris Dodd, Sean Gallighan, potentially Anthony McCrury, Cole Baker, Daniel Gilbert, K Shearer. This is an all-star lineup that are going to be battling it out in this postseason, and we may not have yet seen our last driver to jump up into that postseason 16-driver grid. 32 laps of racing here tonight, so it'll be 10, 10, and 12 for our stages. Your top 10 coming into this race overall, presented by Golden Corral. Trent Dunham is the points leader. We know his love for Daytona. He is 22 points over Cole Baker. Dallas McIntosh 3rd. 4th, Chris Dodd. Daniel Gilbert in 5th. Sean Gallighan 6th. K Shearer is the highest running rookie in 7th. Caleb Farrell in 8th. Blaine Keys in 9th. And Emmanuel Hartnett complete your top 10 in the points. But look at some of these names that are up here in the top of the point standings that don't have a win yet. Caleb Farrell, Blaine Keys, Emmanuel Hartnett, Charles Sandfer, Brandon Gonzalez, Jessica Shelton, who was a former winner of this race, as a matter of fact, back in, I believe it was season 3. You've also got J McCloud, as we mentioned. You've got J Gardner. I don't know if I mentioned him or not. B Allan. J Baskinger trying to make a bid to go 5 for 5 in making the chases in his career in 5 seasons. K Tellier, Quentin Moore. There's so many drivers that tonight with a win could find themselves in the hunt for the championship when the checkered flag waves at M&M Super Speedway. We'll have to see what happens here tonight, as coming into tonight's race, I believe at least 2 former winners at this track are in this field. I will have to double check. I know that one of them is D Poteet. He is the defending winner of this race. And as I said, Jessica Shelton took the checkered flag here, if I recall, back in season 3. I'll have to look back at seasons 1 and 2 to find out. But it's time to go racing here tonight in the Coca-Cola 400. Green flag is out. Let's roll. McCloud going to get in front of McCrury, so he will lead them into turn 1. McCrury going to tuck in line there in second, and now they're going to go 3 wide for third. That's McIntyre to the bottom. Drayton put in the middle. M Haas up top. Here comes McCrury for the race lead. Season 1 race here at Daytona. Never ran. We didn't run Daytona in Season 1, and I think we maybe didn't run it in Season 2 as well. I'm talking about the second Daytona race, not the first. As McIntyre takes the lead, here comes J Sydnor, here comes K Tellier. Look at all these faces coming up to the front who, with a win, could put themselves in a playoff position. And indeed, I am correct. Seasons 1 and 2, we did not run a second race at Daytona International Speedway. We only ran the season opener. So Jessica Shelton and D Poteet, who went to victory lane here in seasons 3 and 4, are the only 2 drivers to have won our second Daytona race here in Hersheys Cup Series competition. As now J Sydnor is going to have a challenge from B Allan. And we didn't see a whole lot of lead changes in last night's Pizza Hut X Series race. We did in the Truck Series race. That's because it was CTS Physics versus GNS Physics. You're going to see a lot of swapping for the lead here tonight in this Hersheys Cup Series race. And more than likely, too, you will see fuel strategy come into play in tonight's event as well. B Allan out in front, showing the way there in the 3 car, looking for her first career win in the Hersheys Cup Series. Could it happen here tonight at Daytona? Kyle Mathews right there talked about, we've got a lot of former champions right now that have a shot of being able to pick up their second championship in this series, McCrury and Chris Dodd. Well, Kyle Mathews to look for his first win of the season, and he would love to be able to pick up a win here tonight and make it 3 former champions going for that championship in the postseason. The only other one that would need to win in order to make it a complete 4 for 4 would be the 78 of M Haas, the defending champion of the series. If you want to go back and look at our former winners at restrictor plate tracks this season as well, you could go back to the season opening Daytona race. That was where we saw the checkered flag taken. If I recall, it was Chris Dodd. Yes, it was. Chris Dodd won at Daytona. Oh, well, we had a spin up in turn 4. Don't know what happened, but it did not bring out the caution, apparently. Whoever it was that spun saved it. And our crew on our NNSCRA split cam will show you what happened. But our Daytona winner to start off the season was Chris Dodd. Our winner at Talladega was Trent Dunham. And our winner at FTF was Daniel Guilbert. So would those be the 3 drivers you expect to see come to the forefront in this race? Very likely. B Allan in the 3. The 3, of course, driven by the legendary Dale Earnhardt, and a lot of people said that he was the one that could control the draft at the restrictor plate tracks. Well, look what B Allan is doing. She's moving high to bring the outside line, then moves low to bring the inside line. Doesn't let either line get a big enough run to be able to make a challenge on her. That's exactly what she's got to do. She's doing an excellent job of what we call controlling the draft, and now she's got a teammate there with her, the National Guard Chevy, former winner at a super speedway this season, in Daniel Guilbert. J Sydnor, he was a chaser last season. J Baskinger was a chaser last season. K Tellier was a chaser 2 seasons ago. A lot of drivers up here trying to make a bid to get into the playoffs. You got Blaine Keys right there in the 42 behind, I believe that's Caleb Farrell. Both those drivers running very well in the point standings. Caleb Farrell coming into this race in the 8th position in points. Blaine Keys in 9th, but both looking for their first win of the season. For Caleb Farrell, he's looking for his first career win here in the Hersheys Cup Series. For Blaine Keys, he's trying to make his 4th chase for the championship in 5 seasons. And Emmanuel Hartnett leaving pit road there in the 83, a driver that came into this race 10th in the points. This is not good for him. I was not able to actually look back at the replay as you guys were, so I'm almost wondering if maybe he was the driver that got up into the wall there in turn 1 and didn't bring out the caution. He may have had to make an unscheduled stop on pit road. I don't know how many laps he's lost. He's now going to lose 1 lap, and also a lap down is the 18 of Cole Baker, who is on pit road. See if we can find him here. There he is. Cole Baker, who came into this race 2nd in the points, not the run he was looking for. And we've got some stragglers here at the rear of the field, as you saw when we were trying to find the 18. Nathan Hudson in the 29. Chris Dodd in the 88. I believe also saw the 48 of K Llamas had lost the draft. There's L Alvarise and Tim Walsh, couple of teammates there. So 3 of the CJ Racing cars way back here. Dodd, Walsh, and Alvarise. Oh, and Tim Walsh has got some damage, so he must have gotten involved in that earlier incident. Again, the reason that I'm sounding ignorant is I have not seen the split cam like you guys have. K Llamas, a Florida native, has also lost the draft here in the 48, and I gotta wonder if a lot of the drivers back here that have lost the draft might have had to check up for whatever the incident was up in turn 1. 3 wide for the lead. Sydnor to the bottom, and they've caught K Llamas. This is gonna be interesting, and they all got held up with the exception of the 38. Sydnor, long gone with the race lead. And that high side is the side that's going to get held up, the line that's going to get held up. Brooke Allen moves to 2nd as a result. Kyle Mathews to 3rd, Baskinger to 4th, and Caleb Farrell to 5th. But the one thing that Garrett Sydnor's not going to like, he is going to lead this lap. That's a bonus point for leading a lap. That's a good thing. The bad thing, he's way out in front. These are CTS physics. When they get lined back up, they are going to gobble him up. Baskinger trying to make the move here on Kyle Mathews. That's for 3rd. These drivers all spread out right now, having to get around the 48, but it will not take long for them to bunch back up. James Richardson up here inside the top 10 now. He's one driver, along with Joshua Michaels, who's still outside the top 30 in the point standings as a former winner this season. Although it's not really that much of a distance, it's only 4 points separating him from Levi McIntyre, who is 30th in the points coming into this race. So Richardson could move back into the top 30 in the points very easily with a good run tonight. And we'll have to keep tabs on Joshua Michaels as well. And you see right there, 38 very quickly got reeled in. We'll have to keep tabs on the 10 car of Michaels, as I mentioned, because he comes into this race only 10 points behind that 30th in the standings cut line. So it's still very close for those 2 drivers to be able to make it in and have their wins count towards a spot in the chase for the championship. Matter of fact, let's jump back and see if we can find where the 10 is. As Johnny Gardner has blown up on the apron. The 55 has blown a motor. Gardner came into this race 15th in the point standings, was looking for a good run, and boy, ever since that strategy didn't pan out for him back at Watkins Glen, things have not gone well for the 55 team. And I don't know if being back where he is, if he came to a stop, if they would have to throw the yellow or not. And he does come to a stop down on the apron. Do they have to throw a caution for the 55 is the question. No, they don't. So Gardner will have to teleport back to pit road. And that's a tough break for the 55. Saw Cole Baker's return back to the track as we're trying to find the 10 of Joshua Michaels' Honda. There he is. Then the second pack of drivers here with Charles Sandfer, Brandon Gonzales, J Bryant, K Tellier. Got McIntosh, Gilbert, Dunham, Hartnett, and Shelton. Hartnett's a lap down, I believe. I think these drivers are all where they are right now because I think they got held up behind the 48 of K Llamas. But they're not too far back from Zachary Fitzwater, who's the tail end of that lead pack. So this second pack could reel these guys back in very quickly. Still side by side up there between L Alvarise and Tim Walsh. Teammates there battling for, what would that be? The 34th position. I mean, every point counts. And as they remain side by side, that's going to be almost like a moving wall for these race leaders when they catch them. They're still side by side. This is not going to be good. Here comes Richardson going to try and take the race lead, but where are these guys going to go? They're all completely boxed in, and that's going to help that second pack led by Charles Sandfer to catch this lead pack once again. Richardson's got to find some way around Tim Walsh. Brooke Allen's got to find some way around L Alvarise, but they're side by side ahead of them here, and they are completely walling this entire front pack in. This is going to help that second pack a lot. Richardson now going to get to the inside of Tim Walsh, and he will forge a hold of the inside line here for Blaine Keys and company. Well, I thought he was going to, but Blaine Keys didn't get to the inside of Tim Walsh, and now he's boxed in. And that's going to allow Richardson to run away for a little bit here. Where's that second pack? There they are. They are closing, and they are closing fast, led by the Honda of Joshua Michaels. Look at this. Alvarise and Walsh not going to in any way give these guys a racing line. Now they're 3 wide back here. Dylan Young and Zachary Fitzwater going up the inside, putting J McCloud in the middle. And here comes that second pack. They've gotten themselves single file, so they're going to make a lot of speed. No doubt about that. Cody Llamas is on pit road. I don't know if that's a regularly scheduled stop for the 48 or not. Look at how they're all just boxed in here. They're still boxed in. This is crazy. Alvarise and Walsh are completely holding up these guys. And Richardson's out in front, but he hasn't really gained a whole lot on these guys either. Right now, the 08 and the 15, they are a lap down. And look at Dylan Young. Dylan Young says, phooey on this. He and Fitzwater made the move 3 wide on the bottom before at the rear of the field. Now they're going to forge a hold of the inside of these lappers. So Dylan Young taking the initiative to try and get by these guys. 3 wide, 4 rows deep, and look at that second pack. They've caught Michaels, Sandfer, Gonzales, Shelton. They're all up back in this lead pack now. And now Fitzwater's going to go by Dylan Young. He says, thank you for making a path there, 2-car. Now I'm going to take over. Our winner from Watkins Glen trying to pick up his second win of the season. Caleb Farrell, big run there on the back straightaway. Can he make it 3 wide for second place? K Tellier in the middle. Look at Daniel Guilbert. What a run into the corner for the 4. He just passed Mathews, Dylan Young, and K Tellier within a matter of 3 seconds. And now they're going to catch the 48 of Cody Llamas again. Going to split him. Guilbert went low, Farrell went high. And now that high line's going to get held up unless they can stick the 48 to the high side 3 wide. Meanwhile, James Richardson, don't look in your rearview mirror because here comes some company for you. Daniel Guilbert and Caleb Farrell, they're side by side for second, but at the same time, they are closing in the gap between themselves and the 11. K Tellier's teammate Keith Batson went to victory lane earlier on this season at Kansas, trying to get both Lincolns into the chase. Can K Tellier win here tonight? She's up to 4th, make it 3rd as she puts Caleb Farrell back into 4th place. And Kyle Mathews, he's been up here near the front all night long. He now will take the 4th position. But still looming are those green flag pit stops. And one thing I mentioned in last night's Pizza Hut X Series race in regards to the truck race here earlier on this weekend, we had 2 cautions in the truck race. So with those 2 cautions, we do not have a general idea of what the fuel window is for these drivers. So I have no idea when these drivers are going to have to pit. But I do know they will have to pit before this race is over. K Tellier with the help of the slower car of Chris Dodd. She goes to the race lead. Richardson now back to 2nd as the high line's going to get held up behind the 88. For Chris Dodd, 2 wins, so he can afford a bad run. Same for Cole Baker, who is off the lead lap. He is currently 5 laps down. Also off the lead lap, Cody Llamas, who made a pit stop, and Charles Sandfer just came to pit road, so this starts the green flag cycle of pit stops. Chris Dodd a lap down along with Emmanuel Hartnett, Tim Walsh, Lee and Alvarise as well, and of course you see the only driver currently out of the race, J Gardner, had his engine blow up on him a few laps ago. He is out of this race. We saw Charles Sandfer was the first driver up in this lead pack to dive for pit road, so the pit stops have begun. Just past the halfway point, which means I would think this is going to be their only stop of the evening. Is anybody going to pit here from this lead group now? This lap, Blaine Keys. Yes, he is. Richardson as well. Mathews is in. McCrury is in. K Tellier decides to stay out. Some drivers leaving pit road there. John Arndt, Dylan Poteet, K Shearer. I don't know if anybody else stayed out along with K Tellier. Oh, yep, a couple drivers did. Caleb Farrell also stayed out. M Haas stayed out. Those might be the only ones. I think those are the only 3 that are still out there that still have to pit. The 78, the 95, and the race leader in the 70. Probably we'll see those 3 hit pit road this time. K Tellier is coming in. Farrell, he's on pit road, and so too is M Haas. So we're going to stick with the 70 of K Tellier. Tellier coming to her pit stall. We will follow her because she was the leader when the cycle of pit stops began. We'll have to see if she's the leader when the pit stops cycle around here. Nathan Hudson just now leaving pit road. Chris Dodd, who fell a lap down on the pit lane. K Tellier down and away. She's going to win the battle off pit road between herself, Caleb Farrell, and M Haas. Now the question is, where does she merge out with the other drivers? I believe it was her teammate Keith Batson just going by. Keith Batson was actually scored last car on the lead lap when these pit stop cycles began. So two sides of the spectrum, one Lincoln doing well, one Lincoln doing poorly. There's Cole Baker in the 18. He's a lap down. And there's the first car that came to pit road, Charles Sandfer. He might be the one to challenge K Tellier for the race lead here. So maybe coming to pit road as early as he did was a very good move on the part of Charles Sandfer. He's now in second. Brooke Allen would be in third with Richardson fourth. It looks like Alex Drayton would cycle around in fifth. And they are going to catch K Tellier very quickly. Tellier going to hang on to the spot, and I believe she cycles around still as the leader. Indeed she does. Brooke Allen second, Sandfer third, Richardson fourth, and Alex Drayton there in fifth. Kyle Mathews is in sixth. Seventh is under contest. Blaine Keys side by side with Jessica Shelton. Second straight week, the Retro Racing Enterprises cars have been really good. And then this is a battle right now for the 8th position, I believe. Nope, 9th place. Baskinger will take it, and he will go to 9th. Fitzwater goes to 10th. Farrell's losing spots. Loses a spot to Guilbert. Sydnor. Michael's next in line, along with Anthony McCrury. So now the question up here at the front. Oh, look at this. Brooke Allen used K Tellier's own teammate against her as a pick to take the race lead. Tellier now boxed in behind her teammate in the 39. And now Richardson going to try and take second. He will. Drayton's going to move by for third. As now K Tellier and Charles Sandfer are stuck behind the 39. Here comes Richardson. As we've got another car up ahead these drivers will be encountering. That's Cody Smart's 12. And Richardson, with the help of Alex Drayton, they're going to move by Brooke Allen, move Allen back to third, Richardson to the lead, Drayton up to second, and we have 10 laps to go when they hit the stripe this time by. Kyle Mathews trying to catch these other guys, but now he's been reeled in by this second group. This second group, though, they might be able to produce enough speed to catch. They are now 5.3 seconds back behind the race leader. We'll have to see if the gap closes up here in the closing stages of this race between 5th place K Tellier and 6th place Kyle Mathews. If they continue to battle up here, I kind of think they will get reeled in, as now Charles Sandfer has K Tellier helping him on the inside line. They're going to go to the bottom and at least take second from Brooke Allen. Charles Sandfer, 11th in the point standings coming into this race. That team has really turned up the wick last couple of weeks. Oh, they're going to have two cars to deal with up here. Cody Smart in the 12 and now also Nathan Hudson in the 29. Neither one of those drivers have any allegiance with the drivers up here in the top 5. Emmanuel Hartnett had to come to pit road earlier on, and now he had to make a green flag pit stop there in the 83. Richardson, very quick work with Cody Smart, and equally quick work with Nathan Hudson. And I just looked at the ticker, and the gap between the lead group and the second group actually increased to 6.5 seconds. So they are actually not closing up the distance between themselves and these top 5. Which actually really surprises me, to be honest. We'll have to see if they got held up a little bit there with Hudson and Smart, if that allows them to close the gap up this lap, but it'll be 8 laps to go as Sandfer leads the way hitting the stripe. At the line this time, did they gain or lose? They lost more ground, about 9/10 that time. So Sandfer, Tellier, Drayton, Richardson, and Allen look like they will be the ones right now that will decide this victory. There's the second group. They're all side by side, but you'd think with as many cars as there are in this pack that they would actually be able to produce more speed than the guys up front. That's not the case. They're losing more ground than they're gaining. Fitzwater leading this group. Link Keys and Jessica Shelton appear to have lost the draft of that lead group, along with K Shearer. Only thing I think they can rely on right now is maybe these lead guys getting held up by traffic, but they're so spaced right now, I don't know if that's going to be an issue or not. And now they've actually cleared all the traffic that they had passed. Hudson and Baker and Batson now have lost these top 5. In this group of these 5 drivers, 2 of them have been to victory lane this season already. Alex Drayton and James Richardson. Drayton comes into this race 26th in points, Richardson 31st. So they obviously would love to have a win to get themselves either into the top 30 or away from the cut line. But you've got drivers like, Charles Sandfer, 11th in points, still looking for his first win of the season. K Tellier comes into this race 22nd in points. She's still looking for her first win of the season, and she's on a winless streak. We've had so many drivers snap their winless streaks here this season. K Tellier trying to be another, and B Allan also looking for her first career win. She comes into this race 20th in the points. As a matter of fact, let me bring up the winless streak grid, and yeah, K Tellier coming into this race, I believe, is on a 74 race winless streak, trying to snap it here tonight. Dylan Young, James Richardson, Dallas McIntosh, Cole Baker, Keith Batson, and Chris Dodd have all snapped 25-plus race winless streaks here this season. Could K Tellier become the 7th? Here comes Richardson for 2nd place. Charles Sandfer trying to pick up Retro Racing Enterprises' first win of the season, and trying to win Retro Racing Enterprises' 2nd summer Daytona race. Shelton, of course, winning the inaugural one back in Season 3. Alex Drayton trying to make it back-to-back for the Tweenix cars. But he now may have lost the draft here with these top 4. This time at the line, as they hit it, it's going to be 4 laps to go. They do have a car up ahead to deal with. That's Benjamin Miles in the 25. Cole Baker just came off pit road, a green flag scheduled stop for the 18. So the next car these drivers will encounter will be Benjamin Miles, but with them single file, they may be able to very easily freight train the 25. He may not be a factor here for these race leaders. 2-car tandem right now. The 03 and the 70, who do not do a good job of getting to the inside of the 25, and that brought Richardson and Allan right back to their bumpers. Drayton as well caught back up. I don't know if Sandfer didn't know which line Miles was going to give him or what, but he held up, got on the brakes a little, so did K Tellier, and that brought 3rd, 4th, and 5th right back to the door. Side by side now for the 2nd position. Can Sandfer do a little better getting around Cole Baker? Looks like he will. And now K Tellier gets boxed in up on the high side, so she's going to drop from 2nd all the way back to 5th. B Allan now moves up to 3rd. Richardson to 2nd, chasing the Reese's Pieces Chevrolet of Charles Sandfer. Next car that they would catch would be Cody Llamas, but I don't think they'll catch him before the checkers. 2 laps to go here at Daytona. Sandfer, Richardson, Allan, Drayton, and Tellier. One of these 5 is going to win this race, as 6th place on back is over 10 seconds behind. Make it 11 seconds as they just hit the line now. So they'll have to settle it out amongst themselves for who's going to finish 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th. But up here, all 5 of these drivers are basically guaranteed a top 5 finish tonight. Question is, though, who's going to be winning this race? They got to work together if they're going to get around Charles Sandfer, and so far, nobody's been willing to work with each other. They've been battling for 2nd. Richardson trying to get a run here on the front straightaway into the tri-oval as the white flag is displayed for Charles Sandfer. Side by side for 3rd, and there goes any drafting help that James Richardson could use if he makes a move on the 03. If Richardson makes a move, he's going to have to make it all by himself. Cody Llamas on the back straightaway. They might catch him, but it'll be really close. They may catch him just at the start-finish line. Richardson's there, but he has nobody to help push him if he makes a move. Will he be able to make a move on his own? He's closing to the back bumper of Sandfer. Will he make a move here out of turn 4? Tellier and Allan have now settled their differences, but it may be too little too late for Richardson. Out of turn 4 for the final time. Richardson cannot make a move. Charles Sandfer is going to win the Coca-Cola 400 here tonight at Daytona. First win of the season for Charles Sandfer. First win of the season for Retro Racing Enterprises. He came into this race 11th in the point standings, and I think that very well iced him a spot in this season's chase for the Hersheys Cup Series Championship. Let's also keep in mind that Charles Sandfer was one of those under-the-radar drivers last season who had 2 wins and was in the Final 4 at Auto Club competing for the championship. Can he put together an equally good season here for the playoffs, but maybe finish P1 when the championship grid at the end of the season is announced? So many drivers right now coming into this race looking like they're going to be contending for the championship that contended for it last season. You now have Charles Sandfer, you've got Anthony McCrury, Trent Dunham, Sean Gallighan, Dylan Poteet, Benjamin Miles, all looking to make their second straight chase for the championship here in the Hersheys Cup Series. What a drive for Charles Sandfer. That team has been on fire the last couple of weeks. They win here tonight. I mean, look at some of his results the last couple of weeks. You go back to Rockingham last week, they end up finishing in 4th. You go back to Thornton the week before, they finished in 7th. You go back then to his run at Watkins Glen. Sandfer did not have the best of runs there, I don't think. He finished in 25th. But you go back the week before that to Springfield. Oh, he didn't finish well there either, actually. He finished in 26th. So I guess it was Thornton that kind of springboarded Charles Sandfer in the good runs that he's had and has jumped him now up with this win tonight into the top 10 in the points. So Thornton, Rockingham, and Daytona have been what has been where Sandfer has been on that momentum run, and we'll have to see if he can continue it into next week's race. But there's your full finish results. Sandfer with the win. Richardson gets 2nd, so this will move Richardson back into the top 30 in the points. Brooke Allen there in 3rd. K Tellier 4th. Drayton in 5th. This will help get Drayton away from that 30th position in the point standings cut line. Caleb Farrell brings it home in 6th with Zachary Fitzwater 7th. Garrett Sydnor 8th. Matt Haas in 9th. And Daniel Gilbert completed the top 10. Alex Drayton gets Rookie of the Race. And K Shearer finished ahead of Quentin Moore. So K Shearer will grow his points lead in the rookie points by up to 3 points now, I believe, between himself and the 89. But how about all the rookies there? Having pretty good, decent runs there with the exception of Cody Smart. Drayton got 4th. Farrell got 6th. Shearer got 12th. And Moore got 14th. So good showing for the rookies here tonight. Anthony McCrury, after making his way in the top 30 in the points last week with his win at Rockingham, got 16th, so he'll stay in the top 30 in points. And what about Joshua Michaels? He got 13th. So I think that maybe, just maybe, all of our former race winners this season will be heading into next week's race inside the top 30 in the points, which means it's going to be even more congested for those drivers that are trying to make it into the chase for the championship via points and not wins when we get into the final 5 races, well, actually now the final 4 races of the season if we've just completed race 22. Thank you all for tuning into tonight's race, though. If you enjoyed it, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe to become part of the crew today. We've shown your full finish results. These are your rookie points and your overall point standings heading into next week's event. Next week, we are going to be having an off week for the trucks. The Pizza X Series will be racing at Gateway, and the Hersheys Cup Series will be heading to Pikes Peak. That racetrack, a lot of fun. Can't wait to go there and see what's going to happen. We're going to have to see if we have yet another different driver go to victory lane this season and make it even more of an interesting battle for the 16 playoff positions. But till then, I've been Seth Cole. You've been watching a production of the NCRA, all playing racing at its best. Good night from Daytona.